tune into First Round Fantasy, you're talking to some guys who make it to the championship.
Welcome on into the First Round Fantasy Podcast, your first choice for second round advice. Gabriel Miramontes solo today, but I have the dog in the background. That's Otis Miramontes, if you guys didn't notice. Otis, see? He said hi. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming out today. You can find us anywhere on the social media landscape, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at First Round Fantasy. You can find us here where you're looking at my face. Someone called me Amish the other day. I'm still a little in cahoots about it. I don't know how I feel. At First Round Fantasy. Or you can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast, most notably Spotify or Apple Premium. It is week 16. It is the semifinals. You need my advice if you are here right now to get to your fantasy championship. And, if you're here and you don't need my advice, thanks for stopping by, I guess. It's nice to have your presence in the area. Speaking of presents, it's Christmas time. It's Christmas Eve. I hope all of you are having a good time. Be safe. Be respectful and responsible. Yes, that's right. We're going to go over some ground rules here. But nonetheless, thanks for coming in. I have a few people already in the chat. Good Mr. Reliable. Star Drew, thanks for coming out today, man. I appreciate you. Would you pick a Brown or a Saint this week? I don't know what you meant by that, but I would pick a Brown this week. I think Amari Cooper's due for a big game. They're playing at home. The home road splits for Amari Cooper have been noticeably different over the course of this season. Last week was a home game, didn't perform as well, but look for him to bounce back today in a relatively positive matchup. Starger and I were also talking before the show about Canada's version of like Black Friday. Apparently it's the day after Christmas, but I like his comment here. He says, but it's civil. So a little nudge there at the U.S. Let's be nicer to each other, guys. That's me. Sorry, I was conversing with other people in the chat. Let's see. Better game this week. Chiefs versus Seattle or what? I don't know. There's not another game there. Let's look at the game slates this week so we get an idea of the picture here. There are 11 games today in the fantasy landscape. Seahawks and Chiefs are one of them. I really like, let's see, not a lot of them. I think Brock Purdy gets his first real test against the Washington Commanders today. If you're starting him, temper your expectations. Also, Chase Young expected to make his NFL debut after, injuries have derailed the first part of his season. I guess you could say all of his season. Raiders and Steelers, that should be a good game. That's basically the Saturday nightcap, so to speak. But yeah, I think the Seahawks and Chiefs are going to be a great game. Definitely have the most to prove. I also like the Packers at Dolphins. I think Dolphins have a lot to prove as well. Kind of been a little slow lately. Let's see if they can ramp it up against Aaron Rodgers because I just love when Aaron Rodgers goes down. That is pretty much the game day, David. No, we just talked about it. There's some good matchups there. Exactly. Maybe the Eagles and Cowboys game. Yes, the Eagles and Cowboys game. Looked over that. Gardner Minshew getting the start. Jacob and I talked about it just the other day. Is Gardner Minshew fantasy relevant? Would you start him over a guy like Gardner, or would you start him over a guy like Brock Purdy? We think no. You probably want to start Brock Purdy this week. But if you have Gardner Minshew, you shouldn't be afraid to throw him out there. Both guys have tons of weapons and a lot of opportunity to succeed, even though they have some pretty stingy matchups. So a couple of guys I like. Let's see here. Or the hype-up game, Raiders at Steelers. Yes, man. Yes. I saw something the other day, where they always give you all the different scenarios of how a team can make it to the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. And the Raiders have to win out. They have to win out. They have to win all 3 games, and 4 other things have to happen in order for them to get there, which is exciting. But Unlikely. Who knows, though? The Raiders can win out, and they start today against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Start your Josh Jacobs. Start your Devontae Adams. Start your George Pickens. Start your George Pickens shares today. Kenny Pickett is due back today. That Pickett to Pickens connection hasn't really started. Maybe it will for years to come. Maybe they start today on a Saturday. They just needed to play on Saturday to get going. Whatever. Let's see. I dropped some other ones in the chat here earlier that we could talk about. Just kind of the ones that I was festering over, pondering over. Maybe you are dealing with similar situations. Let's talk about them. Christian Watson or Terry McLaurin this week. To be honest, I like me some Terry McLaurin. I think he's due to have a bounce back game. We saw that the targets have still been there, but we also see what happens when the touchdowns are not there. We knew it was going to happen at some point. The regression was coming, and it came last week. He burned me. I started, I started him over Chris Godwin. I know. Maybe now you're thinking after you just heard that you want to tune out. You don't want to listen to this anymore. It was the choice that I made. But in reality, the choice that I made was Chris Godwin and Mike Williams. And I started Mike Williams over Chris Godwin. Christian Watson was never in that discussion. And I started him as a confident, high-level wide receiver too. And we see what happens when the touchdowns are not in the cards for him. So I still think he's got a great game. I like him this week rather than Terry McLaurin. He goes up against San Francisco and, just a tough matchup all around. Even though San Francisco is vulnerable through the air, I still think that Christian Watson can get it done and find some pager again. Let's see. Oh, my man, my boy. Welcome back. Jacob's not here today. He's busy. He's doing outside work. He's playing Santa today. He's got a lot of things to do. So he's a little busy today. The Dynasty narrative, Zach Moss or Tyler Algier today. We had a long discussion about Tyler Algier the other day. How he's kind of encroaching, and in the last two games of this season, we might see him completely dominate touches as they've shifted to Desmond Ridder. They want to see what these young guys have as they move into the offseason. I like Tyler Algier here. Zach Moss could get the workload. Not entirely, it's entirely possible that we see that happen. But I think Tyler Algier just has the better matchup. I want to go here. I just kind of want to look up, see who does Indiana play today. Los Angeles Chargers. Ooh, juicy matchup indeed. Don't know what to say there. You also have to consider who's going to get the workload, Zach Moss or Deion Jackson. So with that being said, I think you stick with Tyler Algier. Let's see. How did I have him ranked this week? Tyler Algier, at Baltimore. A little stingier, but I think Tyler Algier gets it done today, especially because he's been getting that heavy workload over the last couple of weeks. So the Dynasty narrative, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Tyler Algier for me. Anybody else want to let them know their thoughts, their opinions? Let them know. My wife, she wants to let us know her opinions. She's sweeping the floor right now. Otis, what do you think? Otis. He says Tyler Algier as well. Thanks to Dynasty Narrative. We appreciate you coming out. Monique, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Thanks for coming by. Should you start the Titans defense versus Houston? I have Dallas D, but I'm not sure how Minshew is going to be in Philadelphia. That is a logical concern. That's a good question. The Titans defense against Houston, no Dameon Pierce. We see what that's looked like now. We have a 2-game sample size. And we also see this weird type of timeshare at the quarterback position between Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills. So I think the Titans are a great play. But also, Dallas at home, they lead the league in sacks, or at least I think they did as of 2 weeks ago. So we might want to double check that. So if your league gives points for sacks, which most leagues do, it's not necessarily a bad call there to go Dallas against Minshew. I don't know. Anybody else? Thoughts? What do you think? My gut says you're going to stick with your Dallas D. I think you stick with your Dallas D. So, Monique, stick with the good ones, and good luck to you. Clearly, you guys have questions, which means you are in the semifinals. This is make or break time. Let's get you to the fantasy championship. Star Drew, Bills and Bears could be a tight scoring game. It definitely could. Bold take. Justin Fields, snub for the Pro Bowl. Leads the league in rushing. from the quarterback position, and I think overall, and just dude, the weight of the world in Chicago is on Justin Fields' back. And yes, their record says otherwise, but he's played quite well, and he got snubbed. I will say it. He got snubbed. But yes, it could definitely be a good game, especially because Josh Allen also hasn't been himself lately. The Dynasty Narrative says Gabe Davis, my opponent, has Allen or George Pickens. Man, George Pickens. Kenny Pickett is back today. The emergence of Deontay Johnson over the last 4 or 5 weeks, month and a half of the season has been exciting. But let me paint this picture to you, Dynasty Narrative. It is entirely what you need. It's based off of what you need. Do you need the home run? George Pickens hasn't been able to give you that home run play for 6+ weeks now. George Pickens has been irrelevant with Mitchell Trubisky, and he's had on and off games. But I think the safer floor is George Pickens here. So if you need that 5 to 10 point range, George Pickens is your guy. If you really think you're going to be tight with your matchup, you need to maximize your point potential. Gabe Davis is the guy who can get you that 1 for 53 and a touchdown. But it just hasn't happened lately. So that's the way I'll talk to you here. George Pickens, if you need that 5 to 10. Gabe Davis, if you need that 15 to 20. Hopefully that helps you out. That's kind of what my strategy is here. Star Drew says the Texans are looking good. Like a couple of games, they are scoring a lot. They are scoring a lot indeed. Maybe the timeshare is working. So Monique, shout out to you. Maybe that gives you a little bit more input into your decision. Just stay strong with that Dallas D. I'm starting the Dallas D in my semifinals matchup tonight. I didn't want to go to the waiver wire or overthink it too much. You just got to do what you got to do. Oh, it's just Google. Dynasty Narrative says it is a good strategy to start Davis Mills with the possibility. Oh, it is a good strategy to start Davis with the possibility that Allen goes off and you get those points. Of course. And we know that the Chicago secondary, Chicago overall has been playing well as of late. Let's not deny that. They have been playing well on the defensive side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball. That's typically what these teams who have nothing to lose are doing. They're trying these young guys out. They're playing for morale at this point. But it's a very likely scenario that this could be the game that Davis goes off. But I kind of just want to pull it up here just for perspective. And let's see here. I'm just going up to Pro Football Reference just so you guys know it's not my own knowledge here. This is public knowledge. But Gabriel Davis, over the last few weeks, he hasn't caught a touchdown since week 13. Even that day, though, 2 receptions, 15 yards, and a touchdown. Before that, he hadn't caught a touchdown since week 10, 6 for 93. He's been seeing a consistent amount of targets, though. The Dynasty Narrative, I will admit that. 7 targets, 5 targets, 7 targets, 6 targets. So the target share is there, whereas we have George Pickens. Let's take a look at him really quick. Just because, you want to be thorough. This is a really good question, so I feel like it's your gut doesn't necessarily do it justice here when you are thinking like this. Let's see here. George Pickens. Yeah, the target share 2, 3, 5. You want the guy who's going to get the more volume, more opportunity. Gabe Davis seems to be a fine play, but you got to think the last 2 weeks, Kenny Pickett hasn't been playing, but also even before that, he struggled to see even 6 targets in a game. He hasn't found the end zone since week 11, and he's only found the end zone twice this year, whereas we know what Gabe Davis is capable of. The Dynasty Narrative, you talked yourself into this. That's your decision making. I'm just a sounding board. I think you want to go Gabriel Davis. I think he's fine. And if he gets you the home run, you're going to be far happier than if he doesn't get you anything and, George Pickens gets you 6 points. So Gabriel Davis it is. Go with that. Trust your gut. And good luck, man. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you. X Spirit says Chubb or Walker. If you mean Kenneth Walker, definitely Kenneth Walker over. You mean Nick Chubb or Kenneth Walker? Ooh, you can't start both? Spirit, tell me the rest of your lineup, man, because that is interesting to me. I don't know. I mean, you probably got to go Chubb in that scenario, but still, I don't know. That's just Kenneth Walker has such a nice matchup against Kansas City. I can't believe that's what you're deciding against. New Orleans, tough defense. I think. Oh, you played ETN. Yes. That makes I mean, you got to go Chubb, dude. You got to go Chubb. Even though the matchup says Kenneth Walker, and I think at this stage in the season, Seattle has more to play for. So if that means anything, and you played Eckler. Well, of course you're going to start Eckler over those guys. But yeah, Chubb hasn't been himself lately. Kenneth Walker coming back from injury. I will say, Kenneth Walker, look good. Kenneth Walker against Kansas City, and that's a bold call. Because you look anywhere else, it's Nick Chubb all day. I'm looking at my rankings. I have Nick Chubb at 10. I'm just looking at some other sites here for reference, 12, 14. So clearly I'm a little bit higher than him than others. But Kenneth Walker, man, just a good matchup. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you really have to think. It's narrative based at this point. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that the decision has to be Chubb. If you have both of them, you're going with the sure thing. Chubb is probably the guy. They're at home. Tougher matchup, but Chubb might get it done. Hopefully he finds the end zone this week. That's what you need. But Kenneth Walker, man, not too shabby. What do you think? I got the Dynasty narrative in the chat. I got Star Drew in the chat. What do you think? Nick Chubb or Kenneth Walker this week? My gut tells me Chubb. Let me know what you guys think. The Dynasty narrative says, is Trevor Lawrence a top 5 Dynasty QB? Well, if the last month is anything, then yes, he's finally playing up to par of what his draft capital was and what it should have been all along. You know, people think that QBs are just supposed to come out and set the world on fire. And they are literally the definition of development, especially for fantasy. No rookie QB, I think, in the last 8 years is a stat that I read a couple of weeks ago, has been fantasy relevant for fantasy football, which technically you could be a good game manager and all of that, but that also likely transitions into the NFL where, you could be doing a little bit better. The performance isn't there. You're learning. It's natural. So, I'm not surprised. I will say this. I was in the fire with all of you when he was struggling last year, when he was struggling earlier on this year. I got to dish him out in Dynasty. I want to capitalize on what I can while I can now. But ultimately, in the big scope of things, quarterbacks take time. And Trevor Lawrence was touted to be the greatest of that draft class. And, it seems like it's paying off right now. But man, Justin Fields looking good. So, yeah, he's a top 5 Dynasty QB for me for sure. Also just because of his age. He plays like this next year. They got Calvin Ridley in the mix. Who knows how they do. Maybe they protect that line. They beef it up a little bit more. Great things over there in Carolina. And it all starts, or not Carolina, Jacksonville. And it all starts with Trevor Lawrence. I just wish they would pass Travis Etienne the ball a little bit more. Let's get to some more. Chubb or Walker, right? Oof, that was such a tough one. That one is still sitting with me because my gut says Chubb because that's just what it is. That's what it should be. But rankings say Chubb as well. You got to go Chubb here. Especially Seattle could go down early, and they're just throwing the ball. Kenneth Walker gets the passing down work, but, who knows if he's getting that much. So still Nick Chubb for me. I'm still in the dirt there. Otis, what do you think? Oh, he's left. Now he's sleeping on that couch. Let's see. Did we get any other ones earlier? Let's see here. Isaiah Pacheco or DeAndre Swift this week. I like Isaiah Pacheco. I'm going Isaiah Pacheco. DeAndre Swift, man. What happened? It's a scary situation for sure, especially for dynasty managers out there. First round fantasy, that's me. Michael Pittman or Christian Kirk. Clearly someone didn't do their research. Christian Kirk already played. So, yeah, start Michael Pittman. Zay Jones already played, so that can't happen. Greg Dulcich or Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox has been pretty okay the last few weeks. Foreman or Robinson Jr. Deontay Foreman had the low volume touches last week, almost kind of completely irrelevant, which is odd considering that he'd been playing so well previously. But he had the injury concern. We understand that. Robinson Jr., though, I like him this week over Deontay Foreman. KJ Osborne or DJ Chark. KJ Osborne for me. There's 9 wide receivers in Detroit. And for some reason, someone's always valuable, and it's just a headache at this point. But Amon-Ra Brown is the guy you're starting. KJ Osborne over DJ Chark for me this week. Jahan Dotson or Curtis Samuel, a pair of Washington Commanders. Give me Jahan Dotson. Where's that rookie connection touchdown magic that we saw early in the season? If it can happen again, you're going to like his production over what Curtis Samuel has been giving you through this middle stretch of the season. Not what he was giving you in the early half of the season. George Pickens or Gabe Davis? This was a question we talked about in depth. If you need the home run, and it looks like the target volume has been there, you're going Gabriel Davis for sure. Let's look at some more comments here. Mostert RB2 this week? It's a good question. Jeff Wilson's due back. I think this is a get-right game for Tua, which means I don't know if they're necessarily going to be throwing the ball that much. Let's take a look here. Green Bay, yeah. I just think the matchup is really good for Raheem Mostert. Ooh, Green Bay top 5 and giving it up. Yeah, I think that's definitely in the discussion. I think on my rankings here, where do I have him? I'm looking at his matchup right now. Let's pull it up. I had him as running back 27 this week. So technically RB3, but I can see the upside and I can see the potential. Jeff Wilson coming back scares me a little bit. You don't know how that workload split is going to happen. So we shall see. We're getting some start-sit questions right now from our YouTube videos. So let's go ahead and get to those really quick. Let's see. Ooh. New York Jets plan to move on from QB Zach Wilson after this season. Sad day in the NFL. Especially if you started a career with Zach Wilson, Madden, and you're super happy about it. Now you're like, I don't really want to play this Madden file anymore because I have Zach Wilson. Dynasty Nair says swag. No, man, swag to you. Thanks for coming out. You obviously look like a content creator. You look like you know your stuff, man. Always free to promote. Drop your stuff. Check us out. Let us know. You got a YouTube channel, a podcast, anything, Twitter. Let us know. As always, if you stop by today, though, please feel free to drop that like. If we get the questions right, because we work for them around here. So any of our start-sits, they pay to, they come to fruition. You got to come back. You got to subscribe to the channel. If you get it wrong, come back, try again next week. Ooh, looking at some sick highlights here of Justin Jefferson. Let's see, 7 receptions, 97 yards. I'm just watching the early morning game day on ESPN. Mike Evans, though. Let's talk about Mike Evans for a little bit. He was my dark horse this week. I love him. They have him here for 5 receptions, 93 yards. The key is the touchdown. Can he find pay dirt for the first time since week 4? I think he does this week. Arizona loves to phase out the wide receiver one on opposing teams. That's Chris Godwin, leaving the door open for Mike Evans to have a good day. They've given up 30 touchdowns on the year that Arizona Cardinals have. That's 6th in the NFL, 6th most in the NFL. I love me some Mike Evans this week. Let's see, Mixon or Kenneth Walker. I'm already playing Chase. Kenneth Walker, man. The New England matchup this week is tough. It's tough. And I like Chase. I have him ranked 9 this week. But there's definitely a scenario where Bill Belichick does what Bill Belichick does, and he phases out, number ones on opposing teams, whether it's the running back or the wide receiver. So temper your expectations with him. But Kenneth Walker, that team just has so much more to play for. Better matchup. New England stingy. And I like Kenneth Walker this week. Although, you can't hate me if Mixon comes out and has another 2-touchdown game. But it's going to be Kenneth Walker for JJ, thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate you. Please, if you're listening to these, let them know, man. I don't want it to just be my opinion. Let me push you in the right direction or something. Start 3, full PPR. Edward, let's go, man. Waddle, Godwin, McKinnon, Kamara, Zeke, or Swift. What? 3 of them? Goodness gracious. Godwin has the narrative that he could, we could see a little bit of unproductive production from Godwin this week. I was just talking about that before this comment came through about how Atlanta or Arizona loves to shut down the number 1 wide receiver options, yet they've still managed to give up, I think the 10th most fantasy points to wide receivers, which means wide receiver 2s are succeeding. Mike Evans, this is a perfect day for him. But at the end of the day, you start your studs. I learned this last week when I started Mike Williams over Chris Godwin, and I was burned badly. So if I'm picking 3, it's going to be Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin, and you're staying in the fire, man. You're staying in the fire with Jerick McKinnon. I think Swift is an easy nod out for me. Just you don't know what kind of production you're going to get. Zeke, he's scoring touchdowns every single week. So if you want more of a sure thing, because we've seen more of this long stretch of Zeke lately, then I could see Waddle, Godwin, Zeke. But also, McKinnon's that passing down back. Seattle is just absolutely atrocious in defending the run. So my gut says Waddle, Godwin, stay in the flames with McKinnon. If you don't want to trust your gut and you want to go with more of a sure thing, it's probably Waddle, Godwin, Zeke for me. So Edward, JJ, thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate you. Be sure to drop that like. If I get it right, come back. Subscribe to the channel, man. We'd love to hear you. We want to be that sounding wall for you. If I get it wrong, come back next week. Try again. Always love to have you. The Dynasty Narrative says Goff or Minshew this week. Ooh, what a good one. What a good one indeed. For me, my gut says Goff, but I got to look at matchups because I don't just always have them here. Let me see. Oh, I know Minshew plays Dallas. That's been said. We've been talking about him for a while. But Goff, who are they playing? Carolina. Pretty stingy defense. The Lions have been playing extremely well as of late, though. Like, really well. I don't know if anybody else notices that. I mean, obviously you do. You're watching football. But they've been playing really good. I think at the end of the day, I think you stay in the flames with Jared Goff. Let's look up his production over the last couple of weeks here, though. Let's see. I just want to do since they've been playing good. So like week 11, and then we'll go week 15, PPR. And again, I'm just looking up scoring on NFL Fantasy. Let's see here, Goff. He's QB 24 over that range. So again, not the streaming option you really wanted. Oh, that's because I have it through week 1. No, I want it through week 11 since he's been tearing it up. Let's do that. And now let's see. QB 23. Not much has changed. 85 fantasy points, 5 games. Yeah, I'd still probably go Jared Goff here. Let's see. Star says Lions versus Panthers. I just said Goff over Minshew. I like the Lions this week over the Panthers. I think they get it done. They've just been playing really well. They've played themselves into like a very dire situation, playoff potential type move. So hopefully they can find themselves in to fantasy success. Let's talk about some more QBs. You started Russell Wilson this week? Russell Wilson over Brock Purdy? No, I think you still go with Brock Purdy, even though I think this is his first real test against the Washington Commanders defense. What about Derek Carr? Gardner Minshew, stay in the flames with Derek Carr. Let's see. Trevor Lawrence already played. Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady today? Tom Brady. Let's go Tom Brady here. Matchup better. Clearly throwing the ball a lot more. Who knows? Green Bay found so much success on the ground last week. Maybe they keep it going. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, both get 20 points. Let's see here. Let's go deep. Anybody still starting Tyler Huntley, Kenny Pickett? These are your 2 QB league decisions. What are you doing there? Welcome back, Kenny Pickett. Maybe he gets something going against Las Vegas today. Hopefully he can. Mac Jones at Cincinnati or Nick Foles in his first start of the season against the Los Angeles Chargers. Whew, that's a tough one too. You're starting the Super Bowl champion. Nick Foles for me. I love it. We're getting some questions here from the chat. Let's see. The 1 week. What are they saying? Oh, starting Daniel Jones over Derek Carr. Ooh-wee, good for you, my friend. For me, it's still Derek Carr. Good luck to you, though. I wish you all the best. Let's see. What are some other ones we're getting here in the YouTube video chat? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Can't read that. Sorry, guys. But Daniel Jones over Derek Carr. What do you think? Are you going Daniel Jones over Derek Carr? Because that is intense. That is a salty take right there, for sure, to say the least. Let's see here. Thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate that. Let's get to 10. Come on. I know we've had some new faces in here. Let's get to 10. 10 likes. That's all I need. That's all I want. Have a good day. I know we got a question coming through here. Let's see. Trinity Johnson says, Noah Fan, or what is that? Jay Johnson with Cleveland's weather. Also, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, too. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate you. Trinity, got a lot of new faces here this morning. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you say. Just hope you're enjoying this time with your family and friends. But back to the question at hand. Oh, Jawan Johnson. Yes, New Orleans Saints tight end. You know what? I have him in one of our deeper 14-team dynasty leagues. He was actually on the bench like week 6 into the season. And I've just kind of been rolling him out here. My team has been atrocious. I'm purposely trying to tank. I'm the owner of 4 first-round picks next year. And I just found out at the end of the season, because we do the bottom 4 lottery picks, that 3 of them are going to be top 4 picks. So I'm really excited. But anyways, back to Jawan Johnson. Yes, he's proven far more efficient. And he's got a tremendous touchdown upside. So Jawan Johnson, for me, yes, I know Cleveland's weather is going to be very bad, but isn't like the whole Northeast going to be really bad? I really hope Detroit is playing at home under the dome. But I still think you got to go with Jawan Johnson here. I would like to look up the field conditions with that right now. Let's see. What is this? Cleveland's weather. Cleveland, Ohio weather. Let's see what we got over here. 6 degrees, winds 26 miles an hour, blowing snow. Oh, man. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be so bad. Let's see here. Let me look up my ranking. I don't usually rank tight ends, but I'm just curious. Sometimes I play with. This was like 2 weeks ago. I just want to see my little algorithm here. Maybe at farm. I think it's still Jawan Johnson. Yeah, it's so tough. It's so tough. You got to go Jawan Johnson. Maybe he gets like that 1 yard, 2 yard scamper touchdown, like bootleg pass off to the side. Jawan Johnson, stay in the flames. But Trinity, thanks for coming out. We appreciate you. The Dynasty Narrative says, you're like the fantasy football Ted Lasso. Thanks, man. I guess I appreciate it. Are some people out there really that negative? It's just a game, guys. Come on. We work hard. We play hard. At the end of the day, fantasy football, 50% luck, 50% strategy. Get with it. The Dynasty Narrative, I appreciate it. Is it the beard? Like, what is it? I only watched like 2 or 3 episodes, but I've gotten the Ted Lasso comparisons before, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. Should I feel good about it? Or every time I watch them, people just take advantage of them. So now I'm just like, oh, people just take advantage of me? But thanks, Dynasty Narrative. I appreciate it. Stardew says, let's see. Have to carry the football and kicking is going to be a problem. Oh, yes, that Cleveland game. I'm pretty sure there are like 5 games here that are dealing with like atrocities in the weather department. So, yeah, a lot of running backs could prove very valuable to your semifinal success this week. I just choked on my own spit. Oh, my God. Die. Oh, did you get over there? Wife, you get over there? She likes to put on headphones. She just doesn't like to listen to me. I totally understand it. I get it. I love you, babe. I could also say, I hate you, babe. Your cooking sucks. She can't hear me, but her cooking doesn't suck. It's really good. That's a compliment. Well, hey, man, thank you. Thank you so much. I have to get out there and watch the show a little bit more. The positivity and enthusiasm, thank you. It's all pent up. I'm a 3rd grade teacher, and when I get home, I have to be positive, man. I'm dealing with children all day, so it gets really intense. We're both teachers, as a matter of fact. So there's a lot of pent up aggression. After this podcast, I'm gonna punch a wall or punch a few sofas. I don't know what I'll do, but nonetheless, thank you, the Dynasty Narrative. I appreciate the compliment. Sarge says, Browns and Saints game might have to carry it in. I know, man. But that's what I'm saying. I think Jawan Johnson is perfectly capable of fake handoff at the 2 yard line, push out to the outside, and Mahomes underhand throw, whatever it looks like, over the top. A lot of teams have been doing that fake the run, then just kind of like push it over the top. Derrick Henry did it a few weeks ago. I love it. I think it's perfectly capable. I'm staying in the flames with Jawan Johnson. Still like him a lot. Jay Chetta 15, Christian Watson or J.K. Dobbins in the flex. Got Watson in there right now, but I'm second guessing last minute. Totally understandable to be second guessing it, dude. I get it. Christian Watson is my guy. I've been on him since the start of the season. I cried when he didn't win off. I cried through all the injuries, and we've seen fantasy success. But last week was that first week where we saw what happens when, he's not catching touchdowns. So we got to be careful. We got to keep an eye on that. J.K. Dobbins has had 2 really good weeks, but we also know what happens when, is this a PPR league? That's what I want to know. Because you say flex right now, but I want to know, is it a PPR league? If it's a PPR league, I still think you stay in the flames with Christian Watson. We even saw that really nasty comment that, what was it? I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but we saw that nasty comment that Aaron Rodgers made the other day where, if you don't follow your routes, you don't get touchdowns in this league. And he was referring to Christian Watson misreading a route, the whole shoulder sleeve thing. Anyways, I think he still looks to him. I still think he looks to him. So with that being said, Christian Watson for me. But if it's half point or standard, there is a world where that decision gets a little bit tougher. I'm looking at my flex rankings right now. Well, technically I don't do flex rankings, so I'm toggling back and forth between my wide receiver and rankings. J.K. Dobbins has Atlanta. What a beautiful matchup. Let's look up his status though. Is he doing okay this week? That's what I want to know. J.K. Dobbins. Let's see, not stats. Let's just pull up the Yahoo Fantasy app. What platform do you guys play on? I'm just looking up Yahoo really quick. I also play on Sleeper, have a few leagues there, but mostly I'm just looking up Dobbins injury status. They removed Dobbins from the injury report. He looks good to go. And then just over the last few weeks, 15 carries, 13 carries, 120 yards, 125 yards. You got the touchdown. Dobbins, man. Dobbins it is. Dobbins it is. Run, Jay Chetta. Run to your semifinals with J.K. Dobbins. All right? J.K. Dobbins. You got to think. 125 yards, that's 12 fantasy points with the touchdown. If he falls in the end zone, that's a 20-point day. Christian Watson could get you that, but he could go that 2 for 20 and a touchdown. You just got to be careful with that. Dobbins certainly getting the workload. Certainly has the better the matchup. So J.K. Dobbins for me. Jonah Bartley, DJ Chark, Traylon Burks, or Jahan Dotson. Do we got to choose one? Is Traylon Burks even playing? Is he back? Is he healthy? I am avoiding Traylon Burks regardless. We've seen what happens when Malik Willis is playing. No one's getting the ball through the air there. So no Malik Willis for me. That means DJ Chark or Jahan Dotson. At that point, it's pick your poison because you're basically choosing between 2 guys who are touchdown dependent to give you a good day. I know I have DJ Chark ranked higher, but I'd like to look at matchups here. DJ Chark, Carolina, middle of the road. And then let's see, Dotson, San Francisco. Yeah, I go DJ Chark just on matchups alone. He's been doing what he's been doing more recently, whereas Dotson's kind of come back, had some success, was injured. DJ Chark for me. Jonah, thanks for coming out, man. Thanks for all you guys who have come out today. Give us your questions. I should say just me today, no Jacob today, but really do appreciate it, guys. It's been awesome. It's been fun. We're rounding down our time here, though. It is time to get going. There are 11 games on the slate today, and your fantasy hopes, your dreams, aspirations, they're all on the line tonight. So thanks for letting me be that sounding board. Hopefully I was able to persuade you, help you in your decision making today. That's all I wanted to do. At the very least, just have a quick chat. If I get it wrong today, though, I'm not responsible. Yeah, that's right. Disclaimer. No, just kidding. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks, Big Dog. Love the show. No, man. Love you. Let's play some Apex sometime. And what's the deal with your mic, bro? You never have a mic. Get your mic on. We got to communicate. That's how we survive. But nonetheless, before I get out of here today, happy holidays to all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. please, please, please be sure to drop that like button. That doesn't make any sense at all. Drop the like button. Please press or click the like button. It does so much. I don't want your subscriptions. I truly believe that we have to work for your subscriptions here. So, in hindsight today, when you're sitting at home, are you thinking, man, that random guy on YouTube, he really helped me today. I'm going to go and subscribe to his page. Or are you thinking, man, that random guy on YouTube, he really gave me some really crappy advice today. I'm not going to ever go back to his page again. No. Come back, give me another try. Or if we got it right, come back, subscribe to the channel. We're hard believers in hard work. So please, we appreciate it all. But the likes, just for stopping by, we really appreciate it. You can find us anywhere in the social media landscape, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at First Round Fantasy. I got to be honest, I'm a little old. I don't know if you could tell. The big 30, keeps me going. But yeah, not too active there. We are really active in the YouTube space though. So community, we want to build that community. We're always posting posts on the community forums. So be sure to like that. James Davila in the chat here. Way to get it in before I get out of here, man. I appreciate you stopping by. James says Akers, Algier, or Foreman this week at RB2, half PPR. Appreciate you, man. I think he's staying the Flames with Tyler Algier. Talked about it at the top. He's been poaching work from Cordell Patterson. It's been a timeshare, but over the last 2 weeks, he's been getting more and more work. I like Tyler Algier here. Cam Akers, what's the matchup? It sounds appealing, but until you actually see it, Denver, nah, not doing that, man. Deontay Foreman, you hope for a bounce back, but you also don't want to hope for him getting 2 carries again. So Tyler Algier for me. Good luck for you, James Davila. I appreciate you stopping by. He says he's been getting advice, but I could use some convincing in either direction. Oh, yeah. I think Algier. Better matchup, more workload. Cam Akers has that stingy Denver matchup. Foreman, at this point in the season, you can't really trust him, right? 2 carries last week, basically irrelevant. And they also have a tougher matchup. Let's just see here really quick. Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's been playing so well, dude. They've been playing so well. So Tyler Algier for me, James Davila. Thank you so much. Be sure to hit that like button. If I get it right, come back, subscribe to the channel, man. We appreciate you. If not, we get it wrong, then come back again. Give us another try. Again, we spend a lot of time on the YouTube. It's just hard for me to manage. I'm an old guy, I'm young, but maybe I'm not as tech savvy as most. But yeah. Just stay here in the YouTube chat. We're always posting those community chats, always posting videos, clips. Want to go live more in the offseason, talk some dynasty. You solidified it, man. You gained a follow here. Gut was saying ride the hot hand with Algier. So, man, at the end of the day, I didn't solidify anything. Your gut. Go with your gut, baby. Thanks so much, James. If Jacob was here, he would head to the other half of my celebration. He usually does the, silent cheers. But good luck to you, man. Clearly, if you guys are all here today, it's time, folks. It's time. That's the ringer. That means football is starting. I'm getting out of here. As always, thank you so much for coming by today. Wife has headphones, noise canceling, can't hear the dog. But Otis is telling me games are starting. It's 9:59. Good luck to all of you this week. Let's get a hot take lined up before I get out of here today. Hot take of week 16 of the fantasy football season. You ready for it? The Raiders, my Raiders, not really a hot take, more so biased, win out 3 games. All the other scenarios that need to happen. Raiders are making the playoffs in 2022. Good luck to all of you. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Good luck. Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you do. It's been a pleasure. Peace out. Goodbye.